Welcome to Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Welcome to this, the 27th day of May, already almost way through the year. It is so hard to believe that just saying it. But we want to say good morning to Dr. Cindy Lewis, the director of Keys Marine Laboratory right here in the Florida Keys. Hello to you, Dr. Lewis. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. So Keys Marine Laboratory, we've talked about it before, but the full-service marine field station situated in the heart of the Florida Keys. You're at mile marker 68.5. It's a busy spot there, offering a unique opportunity for college-level education and researchers studying the only tropical marine ecosystem in the continental United States, and operated by Florida Institute of Oceanography with 34 universities, institutions, and state agencies making up that consortium. So yes, it's a busy organization and a busy place there at mile marker 68.5. And Dr. Lewis, we talked a little bit ago in the weather forecast about how it's getting warmer and warmer. And you all are going to help us to understand that, be prepared for it with a big workshop coming up.
Yeah, so everybody has heard me talk before. One of the things that we do is we have these temperature controlled seawater systems that house a lot of our partners here in the Keys. The coral restoration is Reef Renewal, the Coral Restoration Foundation, iCare, as well as the FWC branch of the restoration. And they're all working on corals, and they hold them in our systems, getting ready to move them out to offshore for all their restoration work. Many of you have heard of the impending El Nino that we're expecting this year. It's going to be a warm summer. We're already seeing warm temperatures on the reef. And as we've seen in the past, the corals don't do well when these waters get too extremely warm. So our restoration partners are coming together. We're having a little bit of a workshop with all of their interns and their volunteers to kind of walk them around the seawater system, show them what we have and sort of some of the protocols so that we're prepared for this summer. We're also talking to them about what are their contingency plans as far as if and when they decide that they're going to maybe bring some corals in to the land-based facilities to protect them from potentially bleaching events for the summer, so we can be prepared. We have enough pumps that are circulating water in the tables. We have enough rain covers to cover the tables. When the corals are in for an extended period of time, we actually have to feed the corals, so making sure we have all of the necessary equipment and supplies ready to bring these corals in.
So you would actually bring those into your facility to prevent the bleaching and the harmful warm water, and then take them out when it's safe. Is there an idea of what kind of quantity of coral is possible to move, and will that indeed make a difference? I assume that they would go back to where they were and continue to prosper.
Yeah, so the corals that they are currently out in their nurseries that are areas out in the ocean. And so they're hanging out there, they're in this hot water, and there are different things that all of the practitioners do to try to protect these corals, because once they go from these nurseries directly out to the reef to be planted, and they want to preserve the genetic diversity of all the different corals that they have hanging in their nurseries. They also want to preserve the biomass, the numbers of coral that they need for the restorations to try to meet some of their target goals. So they begin to look at all these things, say, okay, which ones are the really sensitive ones, or how do we preserve some individuals? So they take a small subset of the corals they have and identify those that are going to be brought in to protect them should we have an extreme warm weather event like we did in 2023. Another strategy is some of the practitioners actually move some of these corals down to slightly deeper water. These corals are adapted for being in shallow water. They're growing in shallow water between 20 and 30 feet. But if they bring them down to maybe 50 or 60 feet, where it's just a half a degree cooler for them for the summertime, it may protect them from some of that thermal stress that they would see from a really hot summer. So they've identified which corals or which trees they're going to move that way. And some of them are just going to tough it out in the nursery, and we'll find out which ones are the tough ones and the survivors should there be another heating event. So it's really important to be prepared. In 2023, we had over 5,000 corals that were brought in just to our lab alone, let alone Moat was doing the same thing, and several of our partners up on the mainland, Florida Aquarium, the Reef Institute, the University of Miami, NOVA, they were all taking corals into their onshore nurseries to protect them. So it was this mass exodus and scramble, and I think we've learned a lot in the last 3 years, and we've identified maybe a better way to streamline it, and then what are going to be those trigger points. It's better, obviously, to have the corals out in the ocean, but you certainly don't want to lose them. So when you decide it's too hot, and are you jumping the gun? You don't want them to be too stressed before you start to bring them in. So it's a balancing act for everybody.
Yes, it is. Well, Dr. Cindy Lewis speaking with us from Keys Marine Laboratory on Good Morning Keys. You had mentioned the El Nino, and that is specifically the potential of warming waters, which are already occurring. And they're saying that that could have a positive effect possibly on the hurricane season, but indeed a negative effect on marine life, especially coral.
Yeah, once again, it's a balancing act. And, in all honesty, a little bit of a hurricane or a tropical storm is not a bad thing for our reefs. It actually, that wind and water and rain and everything begins to cool the reef down just a little bit and gives the coral a reprieve if it's only for a week or two. So a little bit of storm activity is not a bad thing, but it's a balancing act against the warming oceans that we're seeing and already seeing. Last week, we were under a bleach watch. The winds that we had over Memorial Day weekend dropped the temperature just a half a degree on the reef, so the coral isn't quite so stressed, but we're expecting once the winds go back to normal and we have our warm sunshine and everything else, everything's going to warm back up again.
So, Dr. Lewis, how's the construction going? I know some of the facilities are sorely in need of updating and replacing, et cetera. How is that progressing?
Well, we are in the fundraising stage, and we've had several very generous donations to begin our building fund for the new building. Stage 1 is going to be building a new dormitory facility so we can increase our capacity, have more students, more researchers on site, so that they can use the facility and get out to their reefs and do their work. And then phase 2 would be to tear down 4 of our old buildings. Some of these buildings are 75 years old, and they've done well. They've survived many hurricanes, but they're showing signs of wear and tear. And so we'd like to replace them with elevated, storm-hardened building and actually be able to increase capacity there as well. So long process, but we've broken it down into 2 phases, and we're seeking state and federal funding as well as private donors for it.
And the summer months that are almost upon us, are those busier for the Keys Marine Laboratory, given the fact that universities and schools are out of session typically?
Yeah, summertime can be our busiest time, pretty much starting from spring break in March or early April, when everybody has time away from school. But then once school is out or in the summer sessions, a lot of our researchers are down doing their research. Grad students are on site for an extended period of time, maybe a month or 2, doing their research. So summertime is a very busy time for us, and we've been at close to full capacity ever since March.
Wow. Well, Dr. Lewis, it is a busy time for you, I know, and I should let you get back to your very instrumental and imperative work there. Is there anything else that we should mention, though, at this particular time?
No, I'm just everybody, keep your eyes on the reef. You may be aware that there is a Coral Bleach Watch that Moat
Yes.
promotes, and that's a sort of a citizen science. If you see anything that looks unusual, you can report it through the Bleach Watch, and it gives them eyes on the water up and down the Keys because you can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, we've been speaking with Moat Marine about that very program that you just referred to and trying to get people involved and aware that they can make a difference by letting Moat Marine and others know about the bleaching events that they see when they're out and about in the water and on the water. So Dr. Cindy Lewis with us, Director of Keys Marine Laboratory. You can find out more, fio.usf.edu, and go to the Keys Marine Laboratory there. You will find out more information and how you can possibly get more involved as time goes on. So very good. Dr. Lewis, I appreciate the update here this morning, and I hope you have a terrific day.
Thank you so much, Mike. You too.
Yes, thanks for being here. Take care. It's Dr. Cindy Lewis with us. She is Director of Keys Marine Laboratory on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. We'll be back in just a moment.
Do you want a reliable, fast, and convenient way to travel between the mainland and the Keys? The Dade Monroe Express is your solution. Service runs early morning through late evening, 7 days a week. Whether you're commuting or just visiting, Dade Monroe Express has got you covered. And the best part? You can try it for free. Visit trytransitfree.com and select Dade Monroe Express. Don't wait. Discover a stress-free way to travel to and from the Keys. The Dade Monroe Express is operated by Miami-Dade Transit.
Key West authentic Irish pub, dining, and rooftop lounge is Celtic Conch Public House, 528 Front Street. The Celtic Conch always features delicious Irish cuisine and tasty pub grub with more than 40 Irish whiskeys, specialty cocktails, and local drafts. Ask about their daily food specials, including kids 12 and under eat free on Wednesdays when ordering from the kids menu with adult purchase of at least $25. Limit 2 children per adult, dine in only. Plus, the best in live entertainment. Monday, it's Milo from 5 to 8. Tuesday, test your knowledge with trivia from 7 to 9. Wednesday features Just George from 8 to 11. Thursday, Milo performs live from 4 to 7. Friday, Milo returns from 8 to 11. Saturday, come back for Just George and Joey from 8 to 11. Then Sunday, Tony Roberts plays live from 3 to 6. Celtic Conch Public House, 528 Front Street, Key West. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Sláinte.
Keys Energy Services rebate program can help to reduce your energy bill. Keys offers rebates for 14 qualified energy-efficient items ranging from $25 to $450. The program also includes an electric vehicle charger rebate for up to $400. Customers looking for more information on the rebate program, a complete listing of qualified items, and information on how to apply should log on to keysenergy.com. At Keys Energy, we're growing greener every day. Here's your chance to join us and put some green back in your wallet.
Good morning, Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. How about that crocodile activity up near Boca Chica, according to the newsroom? Well, that is something you don't see every day, thankfully. I hope all is well, including the crocodile. We're going to say good morning to Brian Barroso. He's the city manager, City of Key West. Welcome back, Brian. Thanks for being here.
Michael, thank you again for the opportunity.
Yeah, and I thank you as always. So luckily Boca Chica is not within the city limits. Otherwise, we might have to send some city workers out to corral that crocodile we're hearing about. So
yeah, well, if they put their hand up, we'll be there to support.
I know, as always, and we appreciate that interagency cooperation as always. So speaking of that, we can get right into a few topics that have been in the news. In a positive light, it's Higgs Beach. Speaking of interagency and intergovernmental communication and cooperation, we now have ownership of Higgs Beach squarely in the city of Key West, and it was transferred successfully from the county after these many years. So that's exciting.
It is exciting, Michael. Boy, what a fresh start. And I mean, it started from day one. You know, the city was wasting no time putting some polish on the newly acquired Higgs Beach. You know, our community service crews are already on site rehabilitating the exercise deck That's right next to the Everby Night Pier.
Mhm.
And then our urban forestry is trimming the trees. Our ground team is cleaning and cutting grass, and everyone's leaning in.
Mm.
And I just wanted to say, you know, this is a special shout out to Marcus Davila for coordinating a smooth transition with Monroe County. So we're keeping the park welcoming while we are developing both the transitional work list and just long-term vision. So we're really excited about the future of Higgs Beach and the partnerships in which we continue to strengthen.
Yeah, well, it sounds like the Board of County Commissioners were on the same page as the city, and they transferred a significant amount of funds to help keep the transition a smooth one. And Higgs Beach is now, again, one of the crown jewels of the city of Key West. And Mallory Square is also that, although it's talked about having some upgrades and improvements there. That's kind of a long-term project. Where do we stand with Mallory Square?
Well, Mike, a long-term project, but boy, we're bringing it forward. So just preserving Sunset and just building for the future. So like right now, the Mallory Square, it's entering an important redevelopment window.
Yeah.
So that's what really individuals need to understand. Like we are in a redevelopment window. So construction on the pier is expected to begin later this summer. And then we're also working through potential TDC funding improvements. So be on the lookout, but we're really trying to stand up some new safe structures. We're definitely going to be looking at a restroom replacement, and then infrastructure upgrades, and then just more seating. All of these upgrades are aligned with the Mallory Master Plan. So our team is also coordinating with HTA on additional rehabilitation work throughout the area. So I just want to make sure that citizens understand through this construction window, you know, please don't worry. The world famous Sunset Celebration continues. So the city has already installed banners along the construction barricades to keep the celebration front and center. So we're really trying to make sure that we stay in partnership with the CPS, and then make sure that we're doing everything we can, that through this construction process, we do everything that is necessary to continue this amazing location and obviously provide that sunset viewing for our residents and visitors.
Well, that obviously is a top destination for many people who come here, and as well as locals enjoy Mallory Square ongoing for its beautiful sunsets and the like. And it's got a bright future as well from the sounds of it. Again, Brian Barroso, he's city manager, City of the Key West. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Now, I remember watching webcams during Hurricane Irma out on Mallory Square as the waters came up above Mallory Square. But, you know, again, that speaks to the need to make it not only beautiful, but robust. And I know that is part of the plan. But we have hurricane season almost here, just a couple of days. And I was just speaking with Dr. Cindy Lewis, Keys Marine Laboratory, about, is it El Nino this year, or do I have that right?
Well, I'm gonna leave that one to the specialist. Here's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find anything hard to knock on.
Yeah.
I would just say that right now, being prepared and just practicing your preparation and your plan is key. So just hurricane season officially begins on Monday. So it's very appropriate that this afternoon our emergency management team is holding a full tabletop drill at City Hall. So we're actually going to be conducting a tabletop exercise that stands up and activates our hurricane management team here at what we believe is going to be our ground zero for any preparation or any event. But this is just it's essential exercise to ensure everyone is ready for the emergency operational roles should we need to activate. So it's a really great opportunity for us to understand what are we doing well, what opportunities present themselves, and just how do we continue to be prepared to support this community if and when an event occurs.
And there's a lot, I mentioned interagency, intergovernmental cooperation earlier, and it's amazing how much of that occurs during an event such as a hurricane. Monroe County Emergency Management is always being prepared and, having exercises and the like under Corey Swizzo and his team. And I know that the Key West emergency management people are constantly in contact, ready to coordinate, ready to assist and implement any plans that come down from the county and otherwise. But it's amazing how many moving parts there are during an event such as that, and that preparedness helps it go smoothly.
Absolutely. And it's a great segue because we are actually being invited to participate in the county's tabletop exercise on Friday. So ours is being conducted this afternoon. And then we have an opportunity, as you just explained, we're part of a more robust emergency plan, which is the county. So we'll be activating and participating on that on Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, we do want to knock on anything solid to make sure that this hurricane season does
I'm using
go.
my head.
There you go. But nonetheless, again, it sounds like it's going to be a relatively easier season. But again, it only takes one to make a huge difference. And again, complacency is our enemy. So it sounds like the city is not slipping into complacency by any means, but preparedness is the watchword. And we thank you for that. So yes, sir. Brian Barroso, he is city manager, City of Key West on Good Morning Keys. Next topic I was going to ask about is kind of a broad one. So I'll help you I'll have you guide me through it just a little bit, but community involvement. I know it's always happening at City Hall. What's some of the current talking points regarding community involvement with the city?
Man, we're excited about this one. It's just Key West gives back. So a big thank you to the Key West Rotary Club for an incredible casino night fundraiser. So look, many clubs, all three clubs do amazing work in this community, but this particular one was our casino night fundraiser. This community never hesitates to step up. So we want to mention congratulations to Jessica Johnson and Robert Wright. They both were the highest bidders for BA Mayor for the day. So our mayor is going to entertain those. I know that there's some other awards. One is, a day with myself and a day with the police chief. So just a great opportunity for our team here at the city, including the mayor, to give back opportunities in which individuals, one, can, come in and just see how the sausage is made per se, but two, just in the ability to give back to this community. So all these efforts, in addition to the great work of the Rotarians that stood up the casino night, it helps raise thousands more for local charities. So we're really excited about our involvement in the community and in this opportunity to partner with the Rotary Club of Key West.
Yeah, and we're not partial to the Noon Rotary Club by any means, but
No.
they all do great work throughout
They
the
do
entire
great work.
And the Key West is blessed with having some very generous, very active Rotary clubs. And so and I did see that there were bids to have your job for a day. I've seen some of the stress from afar and some of the grief you get from time to time, which is typically unwarranted. I'm not sure who would want to pay to have that, that job, but nonetheless, I appreciate you stepping up and making yourself available for that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, I did see a note in the news that Key West High School graduates apparently $3.2 million in scholarships given this past, just the other night, as a matter of fact, for this school year. Amazing. And again, that's a big part of the community involvement that the city is involved with that helps make that all possible. Also, involvement with baseball, obviously a very rich history of baseball here with the Conks in the city of Key West. And we're actually going to be taking part in the Marlins making some history with Key West Day. That's coming up too.
Yeah, we're like, man, take me out to the ball game now. So we're like, hey, get your hat and glove ready. So July 11th is the official Key West Day at the Miami Marlins game. So they are designating this as the Key West Day. They're going to take the Marlins play the Cleveland Guardians. And for every ticket purchased through the special link, so there was a link provided by the city. It's on our city website. $5 supports the Key West Police Athletic League. So it goes back to the PAL League. So we're really excited about that partnership. And then just details and tickets they're available on the city and PAL website. So please look for both those mediums in which you could find that. And just a big thank you to Rick Lopez and Todd Stoughton for bringing this opportunity back to our community. We're really excited about the partnership.
Yeah, hats off to Todd and to Rick, doing a great job with that, as they typically do. So thanks to them. And is there a first pitch opportunity or no?
That's my understanding. And what we've tried to do is my direction is let's make it completely about the kids. My communication back was let's not make it the mayor or commissioner or one of us.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we're really changing lives and making an impact. So our desire is to pick some individuals or have this leagues pick individuals in which I believe they could be provided an opportunity to throw out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. More to come. I'll leave that to the brain trust there, but I did communicate that it should be more about the kids than it is us.
Yeah. Well, we've got some pretty sought after pitchers on the Conks here this past year.
Yeah.
So I think we could show up and make a pretty good impression there as well.
They may call them up right there.
They might, exactly. All right. Well, let's move on to Cuba then. There's a lot going on with Cuba. There's a lot of information, misinformation, rumors, all of that. We were going to be invaded by drones a few weeks ago. That didn't happen, thankfully. And actually, I did have a discussion on the air directly with Corey Swizzo about that to put people's minds at ease regarding some of those, things that were seen in the news. But I'm sure that you have some of the more accurate and official information as far as what's going on with Cuba versus, not versus, but, in terms of Key West and our proximity to Cuba and all of that, and a lot of relations going back and forth. Where do we stand currently with the Cuba situation?
Well, first and foremost, what I would say for the layman, the nexus is to use the moniker Cuba. What I want to be very clear is that our meeting with the U.S. Coast Guard was about international travel.
Yes.
So what we really want to be clear is we're not necessarily denoting that this meeting or the information we're providing is exclusively related to Cuba. It's not. It's about international travel. So I want to make sure that I'm being respectful to our partners at the U.S. Coast Guard, because they acquiesced and provided that opportunity for the mayor and myself to meet with them. So right now, international travel by vessel from the U.S. to anywhere still requires a Coast Guard permit, just as before. So what our city has done is we've gotten that information from the Coast Guard and we've posted it on our website. So this is just related to international travel by vessel. Okay. So it still requires a Coast Guard permit. So that's our position. We're not necessarily saying it's about Cuba or not about Cuba. It's about international travel. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to make sure that we're very clear about that, because what many are seeing right now is the moniker of just Cuba. So city staff is preparing a preliminary report on how potential federal policy shifts could impact Key West. So we're unaware. So right now, if anyone is looking for information, there's really no more information to provide. We've done everything we can to meet with the entities that are associated with the protection of our borders, and mostly how do we prepare as a city. So right now we're working on a preliminary report, and then we're just paying very close attention on any federal policy shifts. So we understand that just given the proximity, the historic ties, and the roles of our port community, we know that there is going to be an impact, and our plan is to continue to make sure that our 105 facilities are intact. We have an opportunity, if there's a humanitarian effort, to stand that up. We have identified locations of that respect, but at the end of the day, we don't have any additional information unless there's a change in policy. So right now, there is no immediate action is required. We're just monitoring developments and coordinating with our federal partners. And if the travel policy changes, we'll meet with these agencies, including Treasury, OFAC, and CBP, to ensure that we're ready. So right now, we believe we're doing everything we can to stand up any type of scenario in which impacts the city of Key West. But it's really being close partnership and collaboration and communication with our partners. But right now, there's no information that can be updated other than what we've provided already.
Okay. Well, well said. And again, there's nothing necessarily imminent. If there was, or if there does become something that the public needs to know, we will certainly do our part to get the word out and keep people informed. But for now, you've had the meetings, pretty much business as usual, and rest assured that it's whatever happens, we are ready and things are under control, I guess is how we should put it.
Under control, yeah, perceived control. But what I would tell you is we're ready as a city to do our part. A lot of what individuals are asking about is not necessarily fall under our purview.
Yes, indeed. Very good. Well, yeah, I appreciate the clarity there, Brian. And again, if anything develops, we'll keep people informed as to what those developments are. Again, Brian Barroso, City Manager, City of Key West. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys and the boat races. We talked about the Coast Guard and meetings with the city. Now we'll talk about the Navy and of course, the Outer Mole Pier. And that was also in the news as far as the lease, et cetera, and where that stands now. So that could have an impact on boat races, but please do bring us up to date on that.
Absolutely. Just want to, again, take an opportunity to reiterate the strong partnership with the Navy. They've been amazing partners and continue to be. So we did receive formal notice regarding the lease, but we really were provided an opportunity through that same communication to identify the individual in which we could apply a license agreement for this year's boat races. So what we have done is we formally have requested a license agreement with the Navy for this year's boat races. We're waiting for that response back, but we feel very positive about that. And we've been in communication with Larry and Offshore Racing with how do we prep for that. So what happens after this year is something that we need to obviously revisit and make sure that we're doing everything we can to continue to bring this amazing event to the Key West and the community, and know that the Navy's, I don't want to speak for them, but I'll stipulate our conversations. They've been amazing partners, and I accept the opportunity that they are going to continue to do everything they can to provide this opportunity to our community.
Yeah, that's our understanding as well, that Race World Offshore is continuing to move forward with plans, as is the City of Key West, and it appears that that will be unaffected by anything else that may or may not happen with the Outer Mole Pier. So appreciate that clarity as well. Brian Barroso, he is City Manager, City of Key West. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. And Brian, as you know, the Coconut Telegraph can sometimes spread inaccurate information, as can social media. We appreciate you taking the time to utilize this platform to get out the word directly from City Hall. But what other topics or pieces of information should we be relaying at this particular time, sir?
Well, I would tell you that right now it's, again, preliminary, but we're really keeping an eye on Tallahassee. We understand that their budget is nearing completion. So what we're really excited about is to understand and see and recognize the great work that we did in Tallahassee regarding funding. So we have a preliminary understanding of what was approved. Now it needs to pass the window of veto for the governor. And if that happens, if and when, we're going to be extremely excited to report back what the efforts have yielded with our partnership with the Southern Group in particular, but just the hard work that this team continues to do to advocate for funding. Know that every dollar that we are able to get from a funding and a grant perspective effectively reduces the tax obligation to our community. So we're anticipating that information. We want to make sure that we report accurate information. That's a key component to our approach. But we are eagerly anticipating it getting to the governor's desk and passing that opportunity to be vetoed. And then we will report back. Just for context, we applied for $11 million from Tallahassee for the upcoming year. So just use that as a benchmark. So we're excited about what we preliminary have heard back. But again, we still have an opportunity to go through the veto window. So when that occurs, if and when, just look for that information. I anticipate being able to do some type of reporting out at the upcoming commission meeting. But we're really excited to let the community know and our partners know what we've been able to advocate and receive from Tallahassee. It really is a reflection of the relationships that we rebuilt over the years and the relationships that we can continue to strengthen as we move forward.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's hope that the budget does get finalized in a positive fashion. Property tax reform and reductions and all that seems to be going, fading into the background, but they could always bring another special session, is my understanding. However, if things do continue the way they are, we should fare pretty well. And again, thanks to you and your team and the mayor for going to Tallahassee and continuing to build those relationships, as well as that was done in D.C., where you had the pilgrimage to meet with people on the federal level. And it seems like that's going to bear some fruit as well. And I will mention,
Equally excited about that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
close to, approximately 18 million that we applied for at the federal level. And again, same type of process, similar timing, but we're really excited to see what we're able to do. There are two specific projects that we're looking for funding. So just from a community perspective and understanding, we applied for roughly about 4 million for the FDOT project at Jose Martin, which is going to begin at the latter part of this year. And then we did ask for 14 and change million for our fire station, understanding that that is a bonded project, and anything that we can get to reduce that obligation from a bond perspective just helps, again, reduce or mitigate the impact from a millage perspective. So we're really excited about that 18 million and what that looks and feels like. But again, just our ability to get into the right rooms at the right time, speaking to the right people and asking the right questions has just been amazing. I mean, there's been years in which under previous administration and leadership that we didn't receive any funding. So we're really excited, I would say cautiously excited because we understand the environment in which we're operating in. But what we anticipate is reporting back to this community the great efforts and advocacy for the city of Key West.
Well, yeah, you have to have those relationships in place, and you have to ask or you will not receive, and that's been done. And I would encourage our listeners to check out the mayor's State of the City that many of us were able to see in various community meetings and the like, and it does kind of show you how some of this funding can turn into positive projects for our city. And also do want to mention that Meet with the Mayor happens on Mondays, I believe, starting at 2. And you still have coffee sessions, do you not?
Every other Tuesday, we have coffee with the CM. They can call the city, ask to speak to Martha Arancibia, and she will schedule those, and they're open to it started as teammates. There was feed forward from conversations that there was limited access to the CM from a teammate perspective. So that's how it originated. But the genesis has occurred now to where we went to the ambassador program, and then now it's just to the community. So individuals that would like to come in and speak to the CM, we have that opportunity. So it's every other Tuesday. And we look forward to providing this platform. We believe informed citizens are a strengthening community. So we really feel that there is no moniker of, man, I don't know what's going on there. We do operate in an environment of transparency, honesty, integrity. And we provide these platforms in which individuals come in and see that for their first hand. I'm big on just be informed and make your own decision and source the source. And what better source there could be than you yourself if you take the opportunity to come here.
Yeah. Well, and we're big on information here as well. So we appreciate you helping us get that out. It is Brian Barroso. He's City Manager, City of Key West, on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. By the way, cityofkeywest-fl.gov is the city website. Lots of information and resources there as well. Well, with that, Brian, I know you've got a busy day to get to. It's a short work week this week. Anything else that we should mention at this particular time?
I just recognizing the Memorial Day, we took an opportunity to do that. So I would be remiss if I didn't pause and just recognize that for many it was a day off, but for us it was a recognition of the sacrifices that were made by those who came before us. So
yes,
I would say outside of that, just a big thank you to our team here that continued to do great work in spite of. So that was it.
Yeah.
And then Michael, just a huge thank you to you. You provide this opportunity and it's valued and appreciated.
Well, thank you. We value and appreciate you and all that you do as well, Brian. And also I did want to make mention of Memorial Day. Every opportunity I get to thank our veterans and those who fell in the line of duty in the name of freedom. I'm forever humbled and indebted, as many are. And so I mentioned a short work week, but it was for a very good reason. So thank you, Brian, for being here. We'll see you real soon then.
Okay. And you travel safe, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Come back to paradise.
Can't wait. See ya.
Right.
Bye-bye. It's Brian Barroso, City Manager, City of Key West, Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. We'll return with more Good Morning Keys in a moment.
The Greenhouse. Have you been there yet? We even spell it with 3 E's to help you smile when you say it. That's our goal. We carry the largest selection of hemp-derived THC and CBD products in Monroe County. If you've been taking medication for anxiety, depression, inflammation, lack of sleep, or muscle and joint pain and it's just not working, or you don't like the side effects, we can help. If you're looking to chill, relax, escape, focus, or even break out into euphoric fits of laughter, we can help there too. No medical card is needed. You just have to be 21 or over. Our 3 locations are open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. In Key West, we're at 431 Front Street, just in front of Mallory Square. In Marathon, you can find us at mile marker 52 at 10875 Overseas Highway. In Key Largo, we're at 99304 Overseas Highway in the middle of the road. Swing on by, share your goals with us, and we'll recommend a product to help you reach them. And we back our recommendations with a 100% money-back guarantee. The Greenhouse. Stop on by and find out what the buzz is all about today.
Visit one of the 12 locations of the Greenhouse, including 9 in the Keys and featuring their newest store at 3128 North Roosevelt, Key West. Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts and Barge is your proven expert in boat lifts, service, parts, or construction throughout the entire Keys, with locations in Tavernier and in Marathon. Hurricane season is almost here, and we all know what a disaster a hurricane is. Protect yourself against a hurricane with tie-down service from Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts. They can custom manufacture your next aluminum lift for any size boat or yacht. Many Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts feature a custom gearbox with variable speed option. They also build docks and cargo elevators and install pilings with their barge service. Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts and Barge is part of the Waterfront Brands Group, which includes Shoremaster, Hydro Hoist, and Tide Tamer, and their full line of parts and service appointments are convenient for all of the Keys. With their location in Marathon at Town Square Mall, 11400 Overseas Highway Suite 211, and their main showroom at 94401 Overseas Highway Tavernier. Have trouble getting on and off your boat? Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts offers a full line of custom boarding platforms and catwalks. Call for a quote or visit NeptuneAtlanticBoatLifts.com.
Your home is your castle, your sanctuary. Rack Advanced Control brings together the electrical and smart technology that make your home comfortable, secure, and effortless to live in. Imagine music flowing seamlessly through every room, beautiful lighting that adjusts to your lifestyle, motorized shades, climate control, and energy management all working together automatically. From integrated audio and video systems to discrete security cameras and professional electrical services, Rack Advanced Control designs and installs technology that works in perfect harmony. Originally founded in California, Rack Advanced Control has over 20 years of experience serving the luxury residential market and was honored as a 2024 Lutron Excellence Award Integrator. Now with an office in Key West, Florida, Rack brings world-class smart home design and electrical expertise to the Florida Keys. Make your home smarter, safer, and more enjoyable to live in. Call 786-647-9647 or visit rackav.com. Rack Advanced Control. Intelligent luxury, expertly installed.
This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys. Hopefully that crocodile is okay after being removed from the roadway, but that did cause some slowdowns earlier. Thank you to the newsroom for keeping us informed about that. We're going to say good morning to Rhonda Hegg. She's Chief Resilience Officer for Monroe County. Good morning to you, Rhonda.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. Yeah. So, we're going to talk about breakwaters and some of the projects that have been going on. And we want to remind people that they can take part and see our conversations as well as hear them on Keys Living TV, which is locally channel 27, as well as worldwide on Roku streaming under Keys Living TV. And you can download the app for Keys Living TV to your favorite smart device at your favorite app store, free of charge. And you will notice that my background does not have breakwater in it. It's just a constant surf there. But you have a number of projects that are underway. And recently, Rhonda, you brought the Board of County Commissioners up to date on some of those. So if you could do that for us at this time.
Yep, just waiting for share to allow sharing. Then I can go ahead and share my presentation if that works.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Love to see that. Yeah.
Okay.
We've been hearing about this for a while, but would love to hear more.
All right. And while we're waiting for that, I can go ahead and get started. So we have 4 projects that were all started about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. And even though they have deadlines till the end of June, there's actually 3 of them that are wrapping up. And we're going to get into that. They went really fast. They're going really well. And I'm really happy about that because it just clears up the work early and gets our grant requirements in so the county can get reimbursed. All right, here we go. Give me just a second here. And let me put it in screen.
Yes.
Okay, you seeing it, correct?
Yes, I am.
All right, so this is a resilience update. This is the same presentation I provided at our county commission meeting last week, just as an update so the public could be aware. So the first one is up in Key Largo. That's called the Rock Harbor Breakwater Repair. That was being performed by our local contractor, Adventure Environmental, with WSP for the inspection services. And that was repair 500 feet of the jetty breakwater that was damaged from Hurricane Irma. And we're also installing an air curtain. So there's 3 canals behind that system, and they really get clogged full of floating sargassum during the summer. And so not only is that restored breakwater going to help slow down that incoming sargassum, but the air curtain will then completely stop all of it. And so with that's wrapping up. They're about at the 90% mark. In total, there'll be about 104 truckloads of rocks and boulders brought in to rebuild that jetty. And so what that's going to do is when it's rebuilt, it will help protect those low-lying homes right on there on the shoreline from storm surge. And we started these projects, I know I talk about them a long time, but I kind of reminded the commissioners, we started these almost 5 years ago. Actually, more than 5 years ago, I had to apply for the grant. And back in 21, we got the notice of grant award. And here we are today, wrapping it up. That was a $1.3 million grant. So no county funds are in any of these projects. So that's always good to hear. It saves our taxpayers money for other things. Here are some photos of the actual building. You can see they're big boulders. They're not little rocks. They're like, 500,000 pound boulders that are brought in. You need these really big boulders to be on the bottom so that when these big storm surge comes in from the hurricane, it can stop the wave action. And that's what this is. And it's really beautiful here. You can see it's almost just about done here, and that rock wall will stop, the storm surge and the floating sargassum. So you get kind of a double purpose here. And it was a really skinny, the problem with these marine projects is, and I've heard it from other vendors too, we're running out of vacant lots in the Keys. We always need a vacant lot, it's always best to do the staging area because you got to bring in these rocks and fill and do whatever else you need to do. And it's really getting hard to find. So on this particular project, we actually had to go to a lot because there weren't any vacant lots. So we had to go to a lot with a house on it, but it had an extra large lot. And so we were on this, skinny little side lot bringing in these huge boulders, which can be seen on the pictures here. But, that's one of the complexities of these projects. It's not just construction, it's working with the neighborhood. And, that's a lot of trucks going in and out of Key Largo there, and try to be super careful and, monitor the truck and the traffic, make sure nobody's hurt and everything is safe. So this has gone exceedingly well. And then, of course, we have these full-time inspection by our WSP engineering firm. And then our first Long Key Living Shoreline, that's also going really well. They're actually wrapping up the work on that. That's another vendor, Sea and Shoreline. They've done dozens and dozens of these living shoreline. Our first one for the county, so this is a good pick for that. So that's a 1,282-foot living shoreline out there by the transfer station on Long Key. You drive by it every day and you see the Long Key transfer station there. Well, there's really low spot there. And so what this is going to do is, instead of building a hardened shoreline, it's going to be a living shoreline. And I'm going to go over and show you pictures of what these wave attenuation devices look like. But again, it's been ongoing for 5 years. This was a $900,000 grant from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. And so here's what the road looks like. It's a really long, low-lying roadway, just got some mangroves and things out there. So 1,282 feet, it's going to be rebuilt there. And here's what these wave attenuation devices look like. So they look like little mini pyramids, and that's our local concrete vendor out there, Monroe Concrete, pouring the concrete things. There'll be 480 of these. And what happens is they'll be placed in the water, and then when the water breaks against it, it falls down, and then they plant the native plantings in between that. So they're about to install these this week. So next week next time we meet, I'll have a little video to show you.
Excellent.
Yeah, and then we have Tavernier. So that's just started today. That's at next to Harry Harris, and see the red line here. So that's a breakwater repair. That is going to be 1,500 feet, and there'll be 162 truckloads brought into that. So there'll be quite another big project there. And then we'll be following up with the canal restoration, hopefully next January. So that neighborhood's going to be really well protected, and they're going to get an air curtain and the whole shebang there. And then finally, that's been actually for 10 years. And then finally, the biggest one is Duck Key Breakwater. That's being performed by another local vendor, LPS Contracting with WSP, and that's 10,000 linear feet of jet span. So a really big breakwater. And that's all wrapped up with the rock work. They're actually doing the plannings as we speak. And that was about 560 truckloads of rocks and boulders. And so that's another big one. That's $3.3 million grant. And you can see that here. It's all completed. It's very beautiful. It's protecting the entire Duck Key community there because it's so long and so large. And they're very thankful and grateful for the project that we're able to provide for them. And here's some of the excavator photos showing these big boulders, again, up to 1,000-pound boulders being placed here. And that's what it was. And we put this as a living shoreline area where it's like a little channel in between at the point out there. I guess the vendors call it the lazy river. And so that's where the plantings are going to be placed for the living shoreline piece. And that wraps it up.
Wow.
We're really excited.
Where
And
Rhonda, where do the boulders come from? Because
they come from the mainland. So they truck them down and it's long drive down to Long Key and, Grassy Key to Duck Key. And so they start at 4:00 in the morning. They show up at the staging area about 5:00 and then they go to about 7:00 at night. And it's just go, 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 go. Now, Duck Key, we were lucky enough they didn't have to go through the neighborhood of Duck Key because the vendor had a staging area on Grassy Key. So they were able to just bring it to the staging area on Grassy Key and barge it all out directly to the breakwater. So all that heavy truckloads didn't have to go through the neighborhood. So that was really good. And so I heard from many people at Duck Key. They're very thankful for that project. It was one that we were just so lucky to get. And so here we are.
Well, we hear about the applications for funding and grants, and then to see it to completion is pretty exciting. It really will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
System, and they're really beautiful and well done.
Thank you, and I'll thank the vendors because they do an excellent job. The kind we do all the planning and pre-planning and the engineering and design and permitting, but it comes down to the construction. That's also an important piece of the puzzle and the finished product.
That's exciting.
Speaking of grants, we have another update. So those big 3 road elevation grants, Flagler Avenue, Big Coppet, and Winston Waterways in Key Largo, that's about $250 million worth of projects. Those also finished their design. And this week, all 3 of that design packages with the permits were shipped off to the State Department of Emergency Management. Now they work with FEMA on doing what's called the cost benefit analysis. So they have to do this number crunching thing to determine if these projects meet their guidelines for cost benefit analysis. And if they do, that's when we then can move on to the next stage and go back to the neighborhoods and meet with them and take a vote on whether they want to move forward. But if they don't pass that cost benefit analysis, then that's when the projects stop right then and there. So this is our first time going through this. So we're excited to get them off to it, and then we're just going to be on tippy toes waiting to see what happens when we hear from them. It might be several weeks or months. We heard it could be quite a while because these are really big, complicated projects. So they have to go through those 3 packages of plans. So we'll see. So it's so exciting.
Wow, there is a lot happening in your department. That's for sure.
Yeah,
very exciting. And we're glad to see the updates here, and we'll be continuing. Interested to hear how the progress is being made on the upcoming projects and grants as well. So again, Rhonda Hague with us. She's Chief Resilience Officer for Monroe County. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. That was a great update, honestly, and wonderful to see those pictures. Hopefully people can go to Keys Living TV later today and see them for themselves. But Rhonda, you've got a lot happening. And what else should we be talking about at this particular time?
In June, at the June 10th commission meeting, we're finally going to submit the ordinance for the neighborhood improvement projects for approval. So we've been getting a lot of attention the last couple of weeks from different neighborhoods throughout the Keys. There's one that's interested in an air curtain project, and you have a couple of the plug canals. They're interested in seeing if we can help them. Some road projects. So we have probably 8 or 9 different communities already interested in that. So they're waiting for the ordinance to pass so we can begin, meeting with them to see if these are projects that might be able to move forward and that we can help them with.
Wow. There's a lot of positive momentum there. That's for sure. They're going to have to add to your department.
I know.
No doubt.
Well, I'll tell my boss that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll second that. I can vouch for you. So, Rhonda, thank you so much for the update here this morning. It's been very informative and very educational and instructional. Thank you. Is there anything else that we should mention, though, before we let you go?
I think that's it for today.
Good. Well, plenty of updates to be had in the future. Thank you again for being here and all that you do for our county. We wish you a very good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Good to see you. Bye-bye. Rhonda Haig, she's Chief Resilience Officer for Monroe County. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. I suppose the newsroom will be checking back in to give us an update on the weather. We do have your weather updates round the clock. Also have breaking news as soon as it happens, and news breaks all the time. It's very important to stay engaged and informed, and we do that for you and with you on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys, local, state, national news at least every half hour. And the heavy hitters of talk radio are all here. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you again tomorrow. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys, and Good Morning Keys. Thanks for listening.